It's so good to see you here. Some new faces, familiar faces. Welcome back. Wow, this is a good day. It's a great day to be alive, yes? And so for those of you who are new, so every January I like to begin and end the service in a particular way. And don't worry, this is only in January. And it is all about this month of coming back to basics. And the theme for this month is actually Root and Reboot, our Seed of Awakening. And so back to the basics. So I would love to say to you, welcome to KGOD, the world's favorite station, broadcasting today's highest consciousness to you live from eternity, commercial free with everyone's favorite DJ, God. Yay, God. The thing itself that knows what you love and leads you to it. A special shout out to our sponsors, Love, Peace, Joy, Harmony, Compassion, and Bliss. When traveling, please be sure to check out our sister stations, KTRU, KLUV, and KONE. Today's broadcast is brought to you by the angels and the cosmic Merry Maids of the universe. Now, don't turn that dial. Your celestial song is coming up next. Warning, listening to this station for prolonged periods may lead to ecstatic joy, profound prosperity, sparkling light, overwhelming clarity, and the peace that passes human understanding. Yeah. Listen at your own bliss. Woo! Wow, we've come here to love one another. Life is so good. Life is so good, isn't it? Even when it appears not to be, it still is because we're here. It's a really good day today. And as I mentioned, every January we cover the first 4 chapters of the Science of Mind textbook, which are the thing itself, the way it works, what it does, and how to use it. And so week 1 being the thing itself. So the thing itself is creation, life, spirit, that thing, whatever you choose to call it. It is called by many names, but we recognize that it is the one thing that is in and through all of creation, and that its nature is love. Week 2 is the way it works, and it's very simple. It works for us by working through us. So it works in your life by working through your life. And in the Bible, it says to declare a thing, right? You declare a thing, and the thing will be yours as you become. And the 3rd chapter is what it does. What does it do? It creates out of itself. So Spirit is constantly creating in our lives, and it is doing so by working through us. And week 4, or chapter 4 rather, and today, how to use it. So this is an important question for all of us to consider. Now, we probably have some area in our lives that could benefit from an increased awareness of the inner resources. And so that's where we're at. So it's the thing itself, you don't know what it is. It's a great and wonderful mystery. And to the best of our knowledge and according to our experience, it is wisdom, love, power, energy, strength, beauty, kindness, intelligent mind, spirit. It's in everything. And there is only one kind of whatever it is. And for want of a better word, we use the word God. God, spirit, source, energy, truth, Jesus, Buddha, Allah, eternity, whatever you call it, the force, the way, right? What do you call it? Okay, that's it too. That's it. That's the thing. That's the thing itself. Now, in the first week, which was actually the second week of January, because we didn't have a service on January 1st, but in that week, I talked about how our image of God may be like an undersized flower pot that keeps the mighty tree root bound, or like that little fish bowl that keeps the goldfish tiny. Whereas if you take that same flower and put it in a larger pot or a field, it will grow magnificently. Or if you take that undersized fish and throw it in a lake, it will get really big. Have you seen the giant goldfish? Like that, imagine that, right? So the question for us becomes, do we need a bigger God? Is our concept or image of this thing, this presence, small? And what would it be like if we expanded and allowed that presence to not only be mighty and magnificent, but be the principle that is guiding every single aspect of our lives? Wow, powerful, right? And so the way it works, how does love, life, intelligence, beauty work? God works for us by working through us. So it responds to us by way of our thoughts, okay? Now this is the part where it's like, oh, wait a second, then I'm responsible. This teaching is not for wimps. Because we become responsible and we recognize that we are creating our lives, and we're creating our lives by what we're thinking about. What we think about, we bring about, yes? And so, and this is the sum total of our thoughts, right? Not like one thought out of 100, but what we want to do is really examine our thoughts and begin to get really present to what these things are that we're telling ourselves or what we're believing that may not be true. Maybe those things served us to a certain point in our lives, but we're still carrying them for some reason. And I'm going to talk a little more about that. It goes back to belief, So God's love is spontaneous, and the law that governs it is impersonal. This is what Ernest Holmes says. So that is about what it does. It loves, it creates out of itself. God's love is spontaneous, and the law that governs it is impersonal. What does that mean? It means it works for everyone. It doesn't matter who you are. It works for you, Travis, as much as it works for me, or for Diane, or for Jim. It works equally for all of us. But what we have to do is tune into it. Welcome to KGOD. That's where that comes from, right? And that was such a powerful download for me from Spirit. And I was so stoked when that came to me, because it was like, it almost feels like magic when you just get this creative thing that occurs, and you suddenly have this idea and it just pours out. That's divine. That is so holy, and it is so beautiful. And so that's what that is really all about for me, KGOD. And we're tuning into it. And yes, it is the world's favorite station. And the reason it's the world's favorite station is because everybody wants to be happy and feel this love and feel like we have a purpose in our lives. Yes? Yes. Yeah. Whatever happiness means to you, content, you're good. You're good. There's good for you, and you ought to have it, and you deserve to have it just because you were born. Thank you, Spirit, right? Yeah. So week 4, how to use it, or chapter 4. Now, how to use it is actually on page 51 of the Science of Mind textbook, and I think it's like 10 or 12 pages. And again, it's in the very beginning. I'm not going to read it to you, but starts on page 51. Yeah, there it is. How to use it, page 51. So I encourage you to, if you don't have a Science of Mind textbook, get one. And then you can read that part of the chapter or that 4th section in this textbook. Now, I went through it and reread it again. I'm going back to basics too. And some things jumped out at me that I want to share with you today. And one is basically the first line, which says, we tend to indulge in too much theory and too little practice. I'm going to say that again. We tend to indulge in too much theory and too little practice. And how that manifests is, I know this stuff, but I'm not using it. Like we say something and we know that, this is wrong and this is bad and I'm not having fun and whatever, right? And then in the same sentence or in the same breath even, but on the other hand, I know the truth. I know what I know. And so we're not using the teaching in our lives practically. And so it's just practice, And so Ernest Holmes tells us also on this first page, page 51, that we only know as much as we can prove by actual demonstration. So if you're saying you know this stuff, but you're actually not using it, you don't know it, because we only know as much as we can prove by demonstrating it in our lives. And he also says the sciences are objectively real to us only insofar as we demonstrate them. And until demonstrated, they are just suppositional. And so I wouldn't be up here sharing about this stuff every single week, every time I'm here, if it didn't work for me in my own life. The reason that I share is it's a calling of spirit, right? But it's like, this has worked in my life, and I want to share it with the world. And Spirit has called me to be a face of that, right? And so I am constantly finding new areas of my life where I can use these principles because I'm human. And as humans, we're ever expanding and ever growing, aren't we? There's always a new something that comes up, and that's called life. So how to use it really is to think correctly and to make conscious mental use of the law of mind to demonstrate what you have learned. And now it occurred to me as I was reading through this section that we've got to believe that it works. And so how to use it? You've got to begin with your belief. And so unbelief, well, the next page in that chapter is one of my favorites, the bottom of page 52. Hence it follows that if we believe that it will not work, it really works by appearing to not work. When we believe that it cannot and will not, then according to the principle, it does not. But when it does not, it still does, only it does according to our belief that it will not. Right? Yeah. Right? So unbelief, he's saying that unbelief causes us to not enter the kingdom of heaven within because of our doubts and our fears. Those thoughts, it can't be true. I hear them saying this, I see happy people, but I don't know. I'm on the fence, right? Or it doesn't really work, or this is too easy. I don't think so. Maybe it works for Linda, but it doesn't work for me. Or maybe it works for Kristen. Or maybe it works in this area because I've seen it demonstrated, but over here, nah, it can't. It can't. That's doubt, right? We've got to remove that doubt, remove it all. And, well, wouldn't you know, there's another page about doubt. And it's the bottom of page 56. Oh. And actually, this is a prayer, so I'm going to read this to you because it's powerful. And I printed it out because I'm going to keep it with me. I am a center in the divine mind, a point of God-conscious life, truth, and action. My affairs are divinely guided and guarded into right action, into correct results. Everything I do, say, or think is stimulated by the truth. There is power in this word that I speak because it is of the truth and it is the truth. There is perfect and continuous right action in my life and my affairs. All belief in wrong action is dispelled and made negative. Right action alone has power, and right action is power, and power is God, the living Spirit Almighty. This Spirit animates everything that I do, say, or think. Ideas come to me daily, and these ideas are divine ideas. They direct me and sustain me without effort. I am continuously directed. I am compelled to do the right thing at the right time, to say the right word at the right time, to follow the right course at all times. All suggestion of age, poverty, limitation, or unhappiness is uprooted from my mind and cannot gain entrance to my thought. Wow. I am happy, well, and filled with perfect life. I live in the spirit of truth and am conscious that the spirit of truth lives in me. My word is the law unto its own manifestation and will bring to me or cause me to be brought to its fulfillment. There is no unbelief. There is no doubt, no uncertainty. I know, and I know that I know. God bumps. Let every thought of doubt vanish from my mind that I may know the truth, and the truth may make me free. Right? Yeah. And so it is. Okay. Beta Mapaya. Thank you. Let's pray. No. I mean, wow. And so reading through the section, I was really taken by this, and I even stopped and shared it with Travis, and he was moved and inspired by it. And we're just, like, that can apply to anything, you know. I was experiencing something from last week and having a little bit of sadness about it, and I read that, and it was like, whatever those thoughts were are simply not true. I mean, it's part of my human experience, but this is the truth. This is what I live by. This is what I know and believe with every fiber of my being. And whatever happens in this human experience is going to happen. And I'm okay because I know God and I have God, right? Powerful, yes? And so further in that chapter, he says, maybe we have a hangover of belief. Now, coming from a 12-step program, I related to that. A hangover of belief. You know, remember, has anybody ever had a hangover? Let's start with that. Let's see your hands. Hangover? Only a few of you? Come on. You've never had a hangover? Wow, you're awesome. So the feeling of a hangover is like, you know, oh, right? Like I've been hit by a Mack truck. I feel yucky inside. I'm emotional. Why did I do that? You know, for the alcoholic, every day is like, why did I do that again? Why did I do that again? I feel bad. I'm thirsty. I'm hungry, so I'm going to go and eat this food like Burger King or whatever, some greasy, greasy food, and drink some caffeine, maybe take a couple Tylenol, and just lay there. You know, fall asleep, maybe watch a movie, blah. That same feeling, a hangover of belief from past years, where something happens and you just feel yucky. And you can't describe it, but you're like, you know that it's yucky. Like you feel gross, emotional, like emotional storm, just like that ickiness, you know? And you recognize that the ickiness is the past because what you know and what you believe is this truth. And so then how do you reconcile it? Well, you have to remember that the past cannot hinder or obstruct the flow of divine intelligence that is God and God's ideas through us. So while that past belief, that hangover belief is there, the action that we take, this is how you use it. Read it. Read something, right? Change your thinking. Read something. Reach out to a practitioner. Reach out to a minister. Reach out to a beloved friend in the community who knows the truth for you, you know? And let that truth become who you are too. But we have to believe it. We have to believe it. And so we get what we expect. I don't know if you've noticed that, but we get what we expect. So if we're working with a practitioner or getting spiritual coaching from a minister, we should expect results. If we're working on our own, reading through the material, having a prayer that we read daily, we should expect results. Like, I'm going to read this every morning, and this is going to change my life. And you may not know how it's going to change your life or what that new life will look like, but it's going to transform you, and you believe it. And it does. And that's how it works. I love it. I sure will. And so you should expect results. If you have been attending for a while and are not seeing results in your life, I would encourage you to check in with yourself. Check in. Like, what's happening? If you're not experiencing the results in your life from this teaching and what you're learning, check in with yourself and recognize that you will want to give up anything and everything that would hinder the demonstration of what you desire to experience in your life. Whatever that is, only you will know what is hindering or blocking. If there is any part of you that disbelieves, you get the bottom of page 52. Hence it follows. You might want to print that one out too. And practice belief, I always say, it's not going to hurt to practice it. And I remember when I first got into this teaching, into New Thought, and was learning all of this, and there was a part of me that was hesitant, but I realized I've got nothing to lose. There's nothing for me to lose. I can try it on like an outfit and then take it off if I don't like it. It's that simple. And so I am convinced that this word has power, and I firmly believe in it. I trust it to produce the right results in my life. That's a sentence that we can repeat. And so this had me think, I believe in God. I believe in the living Spirit Almighty. I release all doubt and fear. I step into the circle of divine light and offer my light to the truth, which is the divine. There is no room in my consciousness for anything else. I am a person of faith. I believe God is, I am, life is good, amazingly good. There are no obstacles in the pathway of truth. Wow. That's cool. Yeah, so every day, this is my work, and it's more like play because it's fun, and it's like playing hide and seek with Spirit, and Spirit is always revealing itself when I begin my day with the mindset of truth. It's that simple. And I do these spirit walks. For those of you that are on Facebook, you may have seen me post pictures, but I had foot surgery in October, so for a while I was not able to do the spirit walks, but I'm getting back out there now, yay! And go up to 5 miles. And I do these spirit walks, and it's like my opportunity to be present with the divine outside. And I work from home, remote, during the day many times, and so it's easy. I can take lunch and just go out and walk. And it's Spirit's talking to me and showing up everywhere. And there are flowers, and people are giving away fruit and, cucumbers and lemons. And I think we've found avocados and the fruits of the Spirit, And there's just all this good happening out in the world because I'm paying attention. I'm looking for good. I'm not looking for what's wrong. I'm looking for the good. Looking for the good. And so one day last week, I was out walking, and a car pulled up. I was about to cross the street, and this woman rolled down her window, and her name was Glenna. I didn't know her, and she wanted to tell me that she had been watching me, not in a creepy stalker kind of way, but she's a neighbor, and And she's observed me walking through the neighborhood consistently for a really long time. And she said, I just wanted to tell you that you are doing a great job. I'm like, well, thank you. She said, I am impressed. And you look effing fabulous. She said that. She really said that. And then she said, can I shake your hand? I know. I'm like, is this wild? Is this like Candid Camera or something? And shook her hand. And then she said, thank you. And I thanked her. And I was so touched, moved, and inspired by this small but mighty interaction in my day on my spirit walk. And I was reminded how just that little bit of kindness goes a really long way. It goes a long way. And so these are the kind of things that happen when we're tuned in to spirit, when we're tuned into KGOD. And so to wrap it up for us today, my friends, how to use it, the manner by which we are to use it is by using our thought definitely and for specific purposes. The more definitely we use the law, the more we use the law with certainty, without doubting that it does and will work, the more directly it will respond to us. This is about mastery. It's about bringing our own thoughts into alignment with reality on a moment-by-moment basis. And I'm going to invite Travis to come up as I prepare to close out here and give you guys the call to action for today or for this week. So the call to action is a fun one. Love to have fun, you know me. So the call to action for actually the next 30 days is to practice how to use it by taking a 30-day challenge. Now, who's going to opt in for the 30-day challenge without even knowing what it is? Let me see your hands. Okay, fair enough. You guys are awesome. So the challenge is, for 30 days, you've got a copy of the KGOD Open and the KGOD Closing. And so the invitation is, before you get out of bed in the morning, say the KGOD Open out loud. Have fun with this, you know? Welcome to KGOD, the world's favorite station. Like, this is your day, living a life tuned in to the divine. And then, before you go to sleep at night, say the last part, which is, thank you for tuning in to KGOD, and that's on this sheet too. So I'm going to hand these out, and you can take one even if you're not going to do it. It's fine. It's fine. It's one of those things that you'll come across one day stuffed in the junk drawer when you're having a bad day, and you'll read it and be moved. So please let me know how it goes. So the invitation is to do this for 30 days, and then let me know how it goes, you know? And lastly, the second call to action is to believe, affirm, know, and evolve. Believe, affirm, know, evolve. Believe, affirm, know, evolve. Believe, affirm, know, evolve. Bake. That's an acronym for bake. Bake yourself into perfection. Believe, affirm, know, evolve. Believe, affirm, know, evolve. Believe, affirm, know, evolve. Bake yourself into perfection. You got this. And so, thank you, my friends, for tuning in to KGOD, all spirit, all the time, commercial free. Keep tuning in to KGOD, and you will learn to accentuate the positive and let go of the negative, which leads to a successful, optimistic, happy, and fulfilled life. Today's broadcast was brought to you by the angels and the cosmic Merry Maids of the universe. We hope you enjoyed hearing your celestial song of love, peace, joy, harmony, abundance, wisdom, compassion, and bliss. Let's take a deep breath together. And allow the sound of that guitar to anchor you. Speaking of celestial songs, in this moment, I am so grateful to know and remember with every fiber of my being that spirit is all that there is. It is all that there ever was, and it is all that there ever will be, and it is everywhere. It is in me, as me, and through me, just as it is in, as and through each individual here, on the Zoom. Everywhere, the entire manifest universe is the body of God. And so everywhere we go, we are actually interacting with the divine. And as we remember this truth, I know that we can go forward into our lives knowing the true meaning of namaste. The light in me sees, honors, respects the light of the divine in you. And this presence is everywhere. And so as we begin our day by tuning into KGOD, we are tuning into the truth. And the day unfolds in the most mighty and magnificent way. And so I know that every day this week, we experience a little bit of transformation, a tiny shift, a tiny altering in our consciousness, just by reciting a few paragraphs of truth. And then as we end our day, closing in recognition of the truth that has played out throughout the day, we experience another tiny shift. And our dreams are magnificent, and our restful sleep is more deep than ever before. And it is so good because we remember that we are cradled by the divine, that we are love in action, we are love in form, we are God in form. There's nothing to doubt. We know that the truth will be revealed in our lives as our lives, because it always does and is. And I am so grateful for this. I'm so grateful for returning to the basics for this month, the beginning of the year, which will propel us into the best year ever. And this day is also Lunar New Year. It's the year of the rabbit. And so I know that each one of us experiences prosperity, health, peace, and happiness like never before. And I'm grateful. I'm so grateful for this love. I'm so grateful for this peace. I'm so grateful to be tuned into spirit all the time. And with that gratitude, I release this prayer into that loving and creative action of the law where I know it is done. I take my hands off of it and allow it to be. And it is good. And I am grateful. And so it is. Thank you. Oh, thank you.